Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 10 episode 3 top 10 greatest ECW wrestlers of all time. And we're talking about the original ECW from the 90s and 2001. We are not talking about WWE's version of ECW. I, of course, am your host, Caleb Johnson, and I am here with my co-host, Cameron. Cameron, how you doing?
I'm doing well. You took me out of my nightly job of saving Louisiana from all the crime so I can do this top 10, but other than that,
It's okay, Gambit, I understand.
I see.
Nonetheless, we start this list off with number 10, and that is Cactus Jack. Nick Foley took his hardcore style down to ECW for 2 years, from 1994 to 1996, becoming ECW Tag Team Champion on 2 occasions, both of them being with Mikey Whipwreck. Whippy! I couldn't do my full Terry Funk impression. I was worried that it would sound weird. But nonetheless, Cameron, what did you think about Cactus Jack's run in ECW?
I loved it, simply put.
Yeah, exactly. He was fantastic in ECW. I mean, it might be his less known run, out of all 3 companies he was in. I mean, people might not remember him as much in ECW, but his ECW run was one to remember. He had some crazy matches,
Yeah.
Exactly. So nonetheless, Cactus Jack at number 10. Number 9, we have the franchise Shane Douglas. He was in ECW from 1993 to 1995, then returned from 1996 to 1999, was a 4-time ECW champion, a 2-time ECW television champion, and 1-time NWA World Champion in ECW. Shane Douglas had some of the best mic skills in the business at the time he was in ECW. He brought this kind of athletic-looking competition to a company that was really based around just hardcore wrestling and, some guys in t-shirts and guys ripping up their bodies, but Shane Douglas really stuck out as kind of the blueprint out of all of them for what ECW shouldn't be, but what ECW is at the same time. Karen, what did you think of the franchise's just fantastic run in ECW?
He basically started this whole thing. I mean, would we talk about ECW as much if it wasn't for him?
Possibly not. I mean, really, he's the main reason that NWA said, whoa, with these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he was the main reason. His promo about it, saying they can all kiss my ass, is what really shifted it, and that's what really made him Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
So Shane Douglas is one of the pioneers of the original ECW.
Yeah.
It's just people do remember him, but some people don't give him the credit he deserves. Shane Douglas was ECW. Shane Douglas was an incredible talent. If you watched Heatwave 1998, he was a hell of an announcer. He's one of the most underrated mic workers ever, and he was one of the best mic workers of the 1990s.
Yeah.
Shane Douglas was the full package, and he may have had lackluster WWE and WCW runs, but in ECW, he was king. Shane Douglas was truly the franchise.
Yeah.
Then we go to number 8, and that is Bam Bigelow. May he rest in peace. He was in ECW for 2 years, 1996 to 1998, becoming ECW champion once and ECW TV champion once. This guy, Bam, is one of the most athletic big guys ever. And not only that, he gave us a fantastic rivalry with Tazz. I think my favorite Bam Bigelow match is his match with Tazz at Heatwave. It was just so good. He got put through the ramp. It's just Bam brought that style as a former WrestleMania main eventer and as a former WWE and WCW superstar to ECW, showing that the big guy could roll in where they had kind of the little, and it's almost like Shane Douglas, but not as athletic, but like bigger, not as athletic looking.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Bam really left his mark in ECW with just that fantastic feud with Tazz and all the great matches he put on. Just Bam was awesome. I think he's the one who threw Spike like 4 rows into the audience, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then they started crowd surfing with him. God, and I wish we could have put the Dudleys on this list, which they would be if we didn't just do single wrestlers.
So we can give them an honorable mention.
Yes, honorable mention is the Dudleys. Bubba Ray, Devon, Spike, Big Dick, Sign Guy, all of them. Rest in peace, Big Dick. And then number 7 on this list is the Human Suplex Machine, Tazz. Now, a lot of people may know from the last 10 or so years, way longer than that, that Tazz has been an announcer, but before he went to WWE, and kind of got misused a bit, which I'm not a person who talks about being misused, but Tazz was misused in WWE. But in ECW, which he was in from 1993 to 1999, and he was a two-time Fuck the World champion. He was a two-time ECW champion, a three-time ECW Tag Team champion, twice with Kevin Sullivan and once with Sabu, and he was a two-time ECW TV champion. He started off as the Tasmaniac, I believe. I'm almost positive that's what his name was. And he was all furry and stuff, and then he broke his neck, and then he came back as Tazz, and he just suplexed the shit out of everyone. And he was one of the toughest little guys. He was like the Wolverine of ECW. Just a tough little guy, demolishing everyone.
Yeah.
He was just incredible in ECW. He was just awesome.
He's one of the few wrestlers I can say scared me when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah, dude. That dude was fucking scary.
Yeah.
The faces Tazz would make.
Oh.
Man, but Tazz was just insane. That dude was awesome.
Yeah.
And then nonetheless, we go to number 6, which is the Sandman. He was in I keep wanting to say WCW. He was in ECW from 1993 to 1999, then again from 1999 to 2001, where he became a 5-time ECW champion, more than anyone else in the original ECW. And he was a 1-time ECW Tag Team champion with 2 Cold Scorpio. No one really looked ECW more than Sandman. I mean, he would just swing the shit out of you with a Singapore cane, he would down a beer on his way to the ring, and he would smoke a fucking pack of cigarettes in the ring. The only issue Sandman had was he was awful in the ring. He is not a wrestler. He's not a good wrestler by any means. He's not one of the greatest technical wrestlers. But he was a hell of a brawler. Sandman was just a fantastic brawler. He was awesome, and he just showed ECW. And he had some good matches with what he can do, because Sandman will fight your ass. He's not going to wrestle you. He can't. He's just going to fucking fight you. That's pretty much it. Oh, man, but Cameron, don't you just love Sandman?
If I had my way, Sandman would be top 3 on this list, but we had to come to a happy medium, and where he's at is right, but he's one of my personal favorites, probably my favorite ECW guy. So,
oh my God! I will say this is he's been in WWE and ECW, or no shit, he's been in ECW. He's been in WWE and TNA since then. But this dude, I mean, this guy, ECW will always be Sandman.
Yeah.
This dude died overdosing on heroin and then got brought back to life 5 minutes later, I believe. Something like that. He died in a car, basically, though, while he was working for ECW.
Yeah.
If that's not hardcore, if living Pulp Fiction isn't hardcore, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And then number 5 on this list, we have a guy who had been wrestling for almost 30 years by the time he came to ECW and hasn't quit since, no matter how much of a potbelly he gets. And that is Terry Funk, who was in ECW from 1994 to 1997, and again from 1998 to 2000. Became a 1-time ECW TV champion and a 2-time ECW World Champion. Terry Funk, who is one of the absolute greatest wrestlers of all time. When you think wrestling, you think of Terry Funk. You think of Ric Flair. Terry Funk was the guy who started wrestling in the late 60s. And by the late 80s, he had started that, and he's always had that rougher, kind of hardcore-ish style. Him and Ric Flair, to a degree, invented hardcore wrestling with their I Quit match. But it's just one of those things where Terry Funk went to ECW, and he didn't have to. He went there, and he recreated his career. He became the hardcore icon. He didn't have to. He was in his mid-50s, for fuck's sake. This dude performed his first moonsault when he was 50. It is insane how crazy Terry Funk was in ECW. That barbed wire match with Sabu is my favorite ECW match ever. It's just insane how much of a mark that's left on not only them, but just my mind. Karen, you gotta love Terry Funk in ECW.
Oh, you gotta love him.
And if it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have had that amazing Mikey Whipwreck story about him in the hotel room. Whoopee! See, I did the full thing this time.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but Terry Funk in ECW was fucking amazing. Yeah. It was funking amazing. Oh, me and my puns. Number 4 on this list is Rob Van Dam, which I could have had a much better segue. But number 4 is Rob Van Dam. So RVD was in ECW from 1996 to 2001. Was a 2-time ECW Tag Team Champion with Sabu, which was an incredible tag team, and a 1-time ECW Television Champion. Now, granted, he would be ECW Champion in WWE's ECW, but we're not counting that. Rob Van Dam is one of the best. Like, I mean, he did wrestle hardcore, but for the most part, this dude was a wrestler. He's a high flyer. He was amazing. His matches with Jerry Lynn are one of the feuds everyone remembers ECW for. ECW, if you listen to an RVD promo in 2014 compared to 1997, you will see two differences, because you will see RVD saying whatever the fuck he wants in ECW, and then you will see RVD shutting down like, yeah, man, I'm gonna fight this guy. I'm Rob Van Dam. RVD. Like you'll see now, but RVD used to be he was an amazing mic worker in ECW. I don't think, as far as consistent in-ring work goes, other than his recent WWE run, I don't think he's ever been more consistent in the ring than he was in ECW.
Yeah.
That too was, and also another match that goes unrecognized was his tag team match with Sabu at Heatwave 1998 is one of my favorite tag team matches. It's so good. It's just awesome. I love Rob Van Dam. Cameron, what did you think of RVD's ECW run?
Really, RVD's ECW run was some of the first wrestling I ever saw, thanks to my uncle. So it's left a bigger impression on me than probably some other wrestling stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, RVD, you gotta see, is one of those things is you talk to anyone who watched the original ECW, you say, who was your favorite in ECW? You're gonna get guys who say Tommy Dreamer, or maybe Raven, or Sabu, but then you got so many of them who say Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, because he was just awesome.
RVD was amazing. I will never stop talking about how amazing his matches with Jerry Lynn were. And then number 3 on this list is Raven. From 1995 to 1997, and again from 1999 to 2000, Raven dominated ECW as a 2-time world champion and a 4-time tag team champion, twice with Stevie Richards, once with Tommy Dreamer, and once with Mike Awesome. Raven is one of my personal favorite ECW wrestlers ever. And also, if we can count this because it does mix in, he also was hardcore champion 27 times in WWE. So the ECW-ness rubbed off into that career. And he also became NWA World Champion at one point. But nonetheless, no matter where he wrestles, whether it was WWE in the early 2000s, TNA in the mid-2000s, or whatever, nothing will ever compare to Raven in TNA. For fuck's sake! Nothing will ever compare to Raven in the original ECW. His feud with Tommy Dreamer, not only is it, in my mind, the greatest feud in ECW history, it is one of my favorite feuds of all time. And I think it is a feud where if you want to sit a guy who just got into the business, he's green, he's going into a feud, and you want to say, do you want to know how to look at a feud? You look at Raven and Tommy Dreamer. Because Raven is one of the most hardcore wrestlers ever. He's incredible. The dude looks nothing like he used to now. He's got the gray hair and he looks nothing like he used to. But Raven was fucking amazing. He was badass. He was just awesome. That character was just amazing. And let's not forget his underrated feud with Sandman.
Yeah.
Remember whenever he brainwashed Sandman's kid?
Yeah.
That was... I worship Raven now. That was awesome. But nonetheless, Raven was amazing. Number 2 on this list is the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu. Sabu was in ECW from 1993 to 1995, and from 1995 to 2000. 1-time Fuck the World champion, 2-time ECW champion, 3-time ECW Tag Team champion, once with Tazz and twice with Rob Van Dam, and 1-time ECW Television champion. Sabu is one of those wrestlers who, you hear the stories of Japan and ECW. This dude, how does he have skin? Let alone, how is this man alive? From all of the barbed wire and tables and there aren't many wrestlers you're going to see nowadays put their bodies on the line and lives on the line like Sabu did.
No.
Because Sabu is just simply one of... And people will say, oh, he botches. Well, that doesn't matter. In ECW, he was one of the biggest draws they ever had.
Wouldn't you botch if your body was in the condition his is in? Who wouldn't
Oh
buy?
yeah, exactly. If you had as many injuries as Sabu's had, oh my god, he didn't 100% completely jump off the top rope as well. We're not talking about fucking Sin Cara before Hunico took over. Sabu has a reason for botching people. He probably only has 3 toes. Oh, but Sabu, he was just that hardcore guy, man. I mean, I will never get over how awesome Sabu is. It's just like I said earlier, man. His match with Terry Funk, that barbed wire match, was incredible.
Yeah.
And then his feud with Tazz, which I forgot to bring up earlier, is one of the best feuds ECW ever had.
Oh, yeah.
They built it up for so long. It was so good. Oh, man, but Sabu is just amazing. And before we get into number 1, who I'm pretty sure all of you know who it is at this point, unless you think we're dumbasses, is some honorable mentions that we didn't put on here. You gotta look at this. Al Snow. You gotta look at some of the smaller guys like Psychosis, Rey Mysterio, Benoit, Eddie, New Jack. New Jack should have been on this list. Fucking New Jack, I swear to God. Oh my God, New Jack. Fucking Beulah McGillicuddy should have been on this list too. Beulah was great. Oh my God. I probably left out someone, but I mean, I don't know who I would have left out. Jerry Lynn?
Yeah.
Chris Candido? I like Chris Candido, just incredible.
Yes.
Lance Storm, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
The Pitbulls. I'm just going to name every person who ever wrestled in ECW. One guy I did really skim over was Mike Awesome.
Yes.
Remember when he did that suicide dive? And Joey Styles said, and it's a shame he didn't take his own life, and then like 4 years later he killed himself? I mean, it's one of the weirdest coincidences ever. You got to imagine, Joey Styles, who should also be on this list, you've got to imagine that he just, whenever he heard the news, he was like, oh my God, I predicted it. Called it.
Horrible. That's horrible.
It's Joey Styles' fault, not mine. Joey Styles is one of my favorite people ever. I love him. Not because of the Mike Awesome thing. I just love Joey Styles out of context. So number 1 on this list is Tommy Dreamer. Who the fuck else would be number 1 at this point?
Al Snow.
New Jack. So Tommy Dreamer was in ECW from 1993 to 2001. The guy never jumped ship. He was 100% ECW. He was a 1-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion, technically 2 times, we're not counting WWE ECW, and a 3-time Tag Team Champion with Johnny Gunn, Raven, and Masato Tanaka. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I wrote it down weirdly. It's not because it's Japanese. But Tommy Dreamer, there was no guy more loyal to ECW. There's no guy who loved ECW. I guarantee you, there's not one person on the planet that loves ECW more than Tommy Dreamer.
I want to go back to you saying that about you pronouncing that name wrong. People, it is because he wrote down the name wrong. Because he talks to me about Japanese wrestling nonstop. He knows how to pronounce the names.
Oh yeah, dude, dude, I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's not being me racist. I literally just wrote it down weird, which happens to me sometimes.
Yeah.
I do. I pronounce Japanese like Yoshiro Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, the Great Muda. But no, Tommy Dreamer really was ECW. This guy's, whenever you think of ECW, you think of Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
Because this guy had one of the best feuds ever with Raven. He just had one of the best runs. And then I truly think one of the greatest moments in ECW history was the Singapore Canaan.
Yeah.
Whenever he had the shit beaten out of his back. And those fans booed him before that because he was too pretty. Yeah, Tommy Dreamer was too pretty for ECW fans, folks. That's how insane the ECW fan base was.
Yeah.
I love ECW. So he just kept taking it, and they're like, yeah, oh, no, stop doing that to this man. It's crazy. Tommy Dreamer, is there even anything else to say besides this man is ECW?
Not really.
Is that exactly? There's just not. This guy was ECW, and he had a boner at one point whenever he did his Tommy Dreamer thing, and it was funny. And it's one of the I don't know if it's gonna be the thumbnail or the picture for him on here, but I gave you that picture to use.
It's somewhere, people. It's somewhere.
It's somewhere. It's gonna be in this video somehow. I couldn't not let you all see Tommy Dreamer's hardcore boner. Remember that time where he started making out with two chicks at once and said, "I'm hardcore."
Yeah.
I love Tommy Dreamer. Oh my god, what was that one? Who was the stud muffin? What, Joey? Was that his name?
I think so.
Yeah, he should have been number one.
Yes. Yeah.
What about Nunzio or Little Guido? Did we forget about
Yes,
him?
Little Guido. Yeah.
I love Little Guido. Oh, dude! Oh my god, we didn't even mention Mikey Whipwreck.
Well, we kind of did.
Well, we did, but we didn't mention him as far as being an honorable mention.
Honorable mention, people. Mikey Whipwreck.
Oh, Mikey Whip. Whippy! But Mikey Whipwreck is awesome, though.
Yeah.
And Balls Mahoney.
Yeah.
Am I just going to sit here to Jerry? Oh my god, we didn't mention Rhino. I feel horrible. Okay, am I just going to sit here and mention every single ECW wrestler ever? Christopher Daniels was in it for a little bit. Anyway, nonetheless, unless I forget, remember another name. Anyway, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, favorite this video. Be sure to check all our other top 10s, which could be comic book or wrestling related. Check out all of our other I just botched. See, I'm Sabu. Okay, haha. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, I'm suicidal and homicidal.
Well, you probably should
actually,
not say that.
I was joking. That is a joke. That is 100%. I was referencing me being Sabu. I do not plan on taking any lives, whether they be mine or someone else's. Cameron is my witness. This is fun. This is a funny video.
It is.
This isn't a good video at all. This is just fun and stupid. And this is ECW, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Heyman. I just had to say his name. But yeah, also, say whatever you want in the comment section. If you want to say we're cool, if you want to say we're fucking assholes, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you say down there, as long as it's not too mean. I won't get rid of it.
He's not going to touch the comments, people.
Yes, I will. Nonetheless, I'm Caleb.
I'm Cameron.